Friends, now let's move to question number 5 in page number 12.54, our standard costing. Okay, it is a simple problem, a basic problem on computing the direct labor rate and efficiency variances. But you are required to interpret the variances. After computing the variances, you are supposed to interpret the variances. Okay, so now let's see the question. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can read question number 5. Okay, now let's read the question once again. What is given in the problem? NZ SCO Limited uses standard costing system for manufacturing its single product ANZ. Standard cost card per unit is as follows. So there is a company, that company is manufacturing a particular product ANZ, and the standard cost details of such product is what is given. Direct material rupees 1 kg per unit, the price is given. Then direct labor, how many laborers is required? 6 hours required at rupees 8 per hour, that is 48, and variable overhead, that is rupees 24. Now actual and budgeted activity levels in units for the month of February 19 are: budgeted production was 50,000, actual production was 52,000. Then actual variable cost for the month of February 2019 are given as under: direct material rupees 10,65,000, then direct labor, that is for 3 lakh hours, it is 24,42,000, and variable overheads, it is 12,28,000. You are required to interpret direct labor rate and efficiency variances. Okay, so basically you are asked to compute the labor rate variance and efficiency variance, labor cost variances. Okay, so computation of labor cost variances. Okay, now for the purpose of computing labor cost variances, what all information do you require? You require what? SR. What is SR? Standard rate per hour. What is the standard rate per hour? It is given that rupees 8 per hour. Rupees 8 per hour. So that is then what else you require? You require assets. What is assets? It is standard hours for actual production. Okay, now what is actual production? Actual production was 52,000, right? Okay, 52,000. And standard hours per unit is 6 hours per unit. Therefore, standard hours for 52,000 units or actual production is equal to 52,000 into 6, that is equal to 3,12,000 hours. Okay, now this is the calculation. Now you have to compute what is actual rate. Actual rate per hour. How can you compute actual rate per hour? Do you have the information? Now if you see the question, they say that actual labor cost was 24,42,000 and actual labor hours was 3 lakhs units. So actual labor cost AR will be divided by actual labor hours. Okay, actual labor hours, that is equal to, what is actual labor cost? Actual labor cost is rupees 24 lakh 42,000, 24 lakh 42,000, and actual labor hours is 3 lakh hours. So that will give you rupees 8.14 per hour. Now what is actual hours? Actual hours, they have given it to be 3 lakh. Okay, so now we have to compute the variances. Okay, first you can find out labor cost variance. Cost variance, what is the formula for cost variance? SR minus AR into AH. What is SR? SR is 8. And what is AR? 8 minus 8.14, right? 8.14 into what is AH? Actual hours worked is 3 lakh. So that is equal to rupees 42,000. And what is its favorable or adverse? Actual rate is higher than standard rate and it is a cost variance. So it is an adverse variance. Okay, A. Okay, now you have this as labor, sorry, it's not labor cost variance, labor rate variance. Okay, now next is labor efficiency variance. Labor what is the formula for labor efficiency variance? SH minus AH into AR. What is SH? SH is 3,12,000. We have already computed that. Minus what is AH? AH is 3 lakh. That is directly given. Now what is? It is SR. What is SR? SR is rupees 6. Okay. It is rupees 8, not 6, rupees 8. So that is equal to 12,000 into rupees 8 will be how much? Rupees 96,000. Tell me, is it a favorable variance or adverse variance? See, standard hours is 3,12,000, but actual hours consumed is only 3 lakh. So the hours consumed has reduced. So it's a favorable variance. Okay, so now labor cost variance is equal to rupees 42,000 adverse plus rupees 96,000 favorable. That is equal to rupees 54,000 what? Favorable. Okay. Now that is the cost variances computation. Now you have to interpret the results. Interpretation. What is the interpretation you can give? Okay. Labor cost variances rupees 54,000 favorable. It means that the actual labor cost is lower than the standard labor cost. In bracket you can write for actual production, lower than the standard labor cost for actual production by rupees 54,000. Since it is a favorable variance, it has reduced the cost. Okay, so that is the interpretation. Now that is for labor cost variance or overall labor cost variance. Now going to the bifurcations of labor cost variances. First variance what you have is the labor rate variance. What is labor rate variance? Labor rate variance is rupees 42,000 adverse. Okay, so you can write it is the variance it is the variance in the labor cost. It is the variance in the labor cost due to variance in, due to difference or variance in the standard labor rate and the actual labor rate. The standard labor rate and the actual labor rate. The company has estimated a standard labor rate of, the company has estimated a standard labor rate of rupees 8 per hour, rupees 8 per hour, whereas the actual labor rate was rupees 8.14 per hour. Rupees 8.14 per hour. As the actual cost has increased from the standard, actual cost has increased from the standard, it has resulted in an adverse variance of rupees 42,000. It has resulted in an adverse variance of 42,000. So that is for labor rate variance. Now last one is labor efficiency variance. Labor efficiency variance. Okay, now what is labor efficiency variance here? Labor efficiency variance is 96,000 favorable. Rupees 96,000 favorable. So you can write as interpretation for this. It represents the variation in the labor cost. It represents the variation in the labor cost due to difference in the standard hours, difference in the standard hours that ought to have taken for the actual production, that ought, O-U-G-H-T, ought to have taken for the actual production, and the actual hours consumed. Actual hours consumed. Okay. Now you can continue. Next sentence. A variance in the standard hours and actual hours. A variance in the standard hours and actual hours is indicative of the difference in the efficiency of the laborers. Difference in the efficiency of laborers. Next paragraph. In the given case, the actual hours consumed is lower than the standard hours that ought to have consumed. Standard hours that ought to have consumed. Therefore, it results in an favorable variance of rupees 96,000. It results in a favorable variance of rupees 96,000. Okay, so this is how you interpret the variance. Okay, now if you want, you can give some reasons for why the labor rate variance could change or labor efficiency variance could change. Labor rate variance could change due to many reasons, because the conditions at the time of budgeting and at the time of actual production may differ. Okay, initially you agreed with the laborers a rate of rupees 8, Whereas when it came to actual production, due to some reasons you had to pay a higher amount. It may be due to pressures from the labor unions, or maybe some other factors which have forced the management to increase the labor rates, or increase in statutory obligations, or increase in due to settlement of disputes between the labor force. So many reasons, okay, due to which the management is supposed or constrained to increase the labor rate or decrease the labor rate. Both could be there. Okay, in this case it is increasing in the labor rate. So that is the probable reasons for labor rate variance. Now for labor efficiency variance, there could be many reasons, such as when can the efficiency increase? When the morale of the laborers are boosted or increased, when the skill is increased, when the training is given, due to which the wastage is reduced, or the bad products are reduced, then there is a business process re-engineering in the entire manufacturing process, okay, or value chain analysis in the entire process. Due to all these reasons, the efficiency of the laborers may increase. Okay, so various factors you can find out. Okay, so that is the reasons why labor efficiency variance could occur. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so that's all about with this problem. Now we need to move to the next problem.